Me from today. Hello, this is Julie Bean. I am over here at Art Beads and artbeads.com/live. And today we are going to be doing flat Kumihimo braiding. So it's kind of a mouthful. This was a request from a previous show. So I did a round 8 warp Kumihimo braid with beads. And a lot of people were saying, can you teach us how to do the flat one? So I've had it on my to-do list for a while now, and I got around to it, guys, so I'm excited. And if you didn't catch the round braid and you want to see that show, all these shows are saved. They're all archived. You can go ahead and see them over at artbeads.com/live, and you can see all those previous shows by myself and our other wonderful designers here at Art Beads. We have Becky Dahl and Sarah Lovecraft and Deb Floros, and we have another designer joining us soon, which is going to be very exciting as well. So I see some comments. I'm going to put on my glasses because I can't see without glasses, guys. Hi, Diane, Jean, Louise, Jan. Good morning. Thank you, Louise. I am well. I am doing really well. Thank you. I hope you are well as well. I can see these comments, which is so great. So a couple housekeeping things. Real quick, and I'm reading the comments, so if I stop for a minute, it's because I'm reading the comments. Jean, I will do a flat kumi with beads, but I'm going to do that another time. This is a little bit more of a complicated braid than the round braid for kumi, so we're going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to do flat kumi without beads today, so everyone can learn the technique, learn the finishing technique, see how to finish off your braid. And then on another show, I'm going to do flat kumi with beads. It's just a little bit more complicated than the round one, so I wanted to separate them out. Hi, Santa Barbara girl. Hi, Julie and Judy. And I love it when you guys tell me where you're from. I see Colorado and Pennsylvania. That's so much fun. And I'm here in Los Angeles. I'm in the LA area, so I'm on the West Coast of the US here. Hi, Teresa. Oh, it's so good to see everyone today. And Paulette and Dee. Oh my gosh, we have such a nice crowd here. And Kim from New Hampshire, this is so much fun. Okay, if I'm able to see, and Kat's here as well. Hi, and Charlene and Jan. Oh my gosh, we have a great crew here today. All right, if you see me reading a comment, it's because I can see your comment, which means those people are on artbeads.com/live, but you might also be joining us from Facebook or YouTube. Welcome as well. If you do have some questions that you want me to see during the live, hop on over to artbeads.com/live. There's a link in the video you're watching right now in the description. Click on that link and I'll take you here where I can see your comments, because I expect there might be some questions with this show. Flat kumi is something that I know a lot of people have wanted to learn how to do, and it is a process. So we're going to go step by step, real slow, and get everyone totally up to speed on how to do this really fun technique. And I see the hearts popping up, so that's another thing. There's a little heart icon. If you click that, it lets me know you like what you're seeing. Thank you. There's also a share icon if you want to share it with friends, like a little arrow. And then, of course, there's a shopping bag. If you click on that, it'll have everything in the entire show listed in that one place. And I put a few extra things in there too, some extra colors of the cord. So you can see some other color variations that you might want as well. Thank you for all the hearts, guys. It's so fun. I can tell the excitement. This is great. I am happy about this too. It's so fun to see all you guys and see how excited you are to learn this technique. All right, guys, I do want to flip my camera down. I want to get going, and I want to show you how to do this. As always, if something's unclear, just let me know, ask me a question, and we will work our way through it. Okay, I'm going to flip my camera down. Here we go. Hello, backyard. A little gray out there today. All right, well, the first thing you are going to notice right off is I do not have a round Kumihimo disc. I have a square Kumihimo plate. So that's one thing that is right off the bat different. To do a flat braid, you're going to be using the square disc. Now, I've also heard you can do a round braid on the square disc. I haven't done it myself, but I do know that some people have done it, so that's good to know. And I see Eric is joining us from the Art Beads team. Thank you, Eric. He can also help answer some questions as they come up in this show. All right, so we've got our Kumihimo plate. Now, if you click on that shopping bag icon, you're going to notice 2 different Kumihimo plates in the shopping bag. One is this one that I'm using right here, and it comes with instructions. Okay, so it comes with instructions like this. Okay, so you see how that is. Now, I know we have really limited quantities of this one with the instructions. So what I also did is I put up a second Kumihimo plate. It is basically the same, has little different graphics here, but it's got the letters and the numbers, and it does not come with instructions. So if you feel like you can get the hang of it by watching this video, and remember it's always archived and saved, you can always go back and rewatch, then you can order the plate without instructions. So that's why there's 2 different Kumihimo discs in the shopping cart there. And this one is pretty limited stock-wise, so that's another reason why I put 2. Okay, so that's what we're using for our main disc. We are going to use a Kumihimo weight. So this is going to come in handy to weigh down our braid to help us have even tension. And we actually use this as part of our finishing technique as well. This little alligator clip right here, this little clip. So we're going to go ahead and use it as our finishing technique as well. Now for other tools, you're going to need a pair of scissors to cut your cord, and you're actually going to be using a needle. So when we finish our braid, we are going to be using some 1G thread. You can use other thread that you have around the house too. And you're going to use a needle, and you're going to stitch an edge for this, a stitch like a line to secure your cords. And then let's see, we also are going to be using a couple pairs of chain nose pliers because I want to be able to show you how to actually turn this into a full bracelet. So that'll be for our jump rings. And then you're going to need these little plastic bobbins. So these, I've done round braids, they're the exact same bobbin. And let me push this, there we go, a little further down. And for this one, it's a 10 warp. So you're gonna need 10 of these guys. And they just pop shut. There are different sizes out there. Any size will do fine. So if you have some at home, they're a little different size, that is totally fine as well. Oh, I love it. Hi, Wanda and Nicole and Jacqueline. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to see everyone and see your guys talking. It makes this such a fun morning. Okay, so you need 10 of those. And then you're going to need some cord. I am using lovely knots in 2 different colors, and this is the 1 millimeter size. And if you look, you get 50 yards of this. That is a huge amount. You get 150 feet of this cord. So I've been using these for a while now, and I still have that much left. But I want to show you one that's brand new that's never been used. It is a tremendous amount of this cord. So that's really fun because you can use it to make a ton of bracelets. And you could do wrap bracelets as well. And then this is what the braid looks like. So this is a flat 10 warp Kumihimo braid. And I've got one end finished off here with a ribbon pinch end. And I'm going to show you at the end how to finish the other side because I don't want to just show you how to make this braid. I want to show you how to finish this braid and turn it into a wearable piece of jewelry. So here we go. Let's begin. So I pre-cut 30 inches of cord and wound it into my bobbins. And so I left one undone because I want to show you from start to finish how to do that. So what I wanted to do for this one is I'm going to do 4 bobbins total with the blue, the darker blue, and I'm going to do 6 bobbins with the turquoise. So I already did the 6 bobbins with the turquoise. So I need 1 more with the blue because I did 3 with the blue already. So you just unravel it. So essentially this is in a very large one of those bobbins. So you just undo it. I have my little measuring tape. If you've watched my other videos, you know I'm always forgetting a ruler. And so I found my sewing measuring tape finally. I'm just going to lay it down and measure off 30 inches of this. Okay. And then I'm sorry, I know this is off camera here, but it'll still work. So I've got 30 inches, and now I'm going to clear this away because I know I've got a lot on my table happening. And we're just going to wind it. Some people like to put a little bit of tape on it. I don't find that's needed, but if you do start to put heavy beads on here, a little tape right here on the end is not a bad idea. So just wind it on up. and pop it shut. And what that does is it traps it in here so that it doesn't come undone, which is very cool. Okay, I'm going to try to clear a little space because I want it to be a little easier to see exactly what I'm doing. Oh, and at the end we will be using some E6000, a little scrap piece of wire to help finish our cord. Okay, so I'm going to move all of this out of the way and hopefully not misplace it in doing so. Okay. All right, so you're just going to gather the ends of your cords, all of them, and we're going to tie a knot. Oh, Wanda, you have a box of mint condition Kumihimo supplies. Oh, you'll have to dig them out. It's so much fun. I bet that's a good treasure trove to go through, though. Okay, so here we go. We're just gathering them. I'm not concerned about what colors are next to each other or anything like that. We just want them all together, and you want a total of 10. So now we're just going to tie a knot. And they are going to get a little tangled. I wanted to preload my bobbins for this show because it would save some time because I know we've got a lot to cover. I actually sometimes find it easier to not wind my bobbins first and just have the big strings and then tie them in their knot and place them on my disc, my plate, and then put them in the bobbin. So that works too. Oh, guys, I left off one. Okay, so we're just going to undo that knot. Okay, slip this guy in here. Okay. They're a little tangly. That's okay. Okay. And now we're going to have a knot here. Okay, and hopefully I haven't left any on my bead mat this time. Okay, it looks good. So you're going to feed it through the center of the plate, just like you did with your round braid, so it comes out the other end. Okay, and we're going to put our clip on it in just a minute. I find it a little easier to wait to do that until we can go ahead and get these set up. So what I think will be easiest is I'm going to put the blues down at the bottom and I'm going to put the turquoises up top. If you notice on this plate, I'm going to raise my camera a little. It's going to be a little easier, hopefully, for everyone to see. We have 1 through 10 up top. We have 11 through 20 at the bottom. And here's something different. We have letters. We have lowercase a through J on the right and uppercase A through J on the left. And that's going to matter. That's going to be part of this when we do our braiding here. So what we're going to do is we are going to line up the turquoise numbers 3 through 8. So let's just start with that. Okay. Okay, so here's number 8. And you just put it into that little groove. Let's find another turquoise. And again, I'm not too concerned if these are that tangled because I know I'm going to be having a little bit of braid that I cut off at the end when I do my finishing technique. Okay, so then number 7 as well. Okay, and number 6. And number 5, and number 4, and number 3. Okay. All right, I can even rotate my knot a little because I haven't put my weight on it yet. Okay. All right, and now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to line up our bottom ones. So for our bottom ones, we are going to be doing 14, 15, 16, and 17. So 14, 15, 16, and 17. So this is your starter position. Okay. Oh, hi, Robin. Okay. Yeah, Wanda, when you said think of a snack, I'm thinking like what are those, saltine crackers? This kind of looks like a saltine cracker. But a taco sounds really good too right now, Nicole. I would like that. Makes me think what to have for lunch. Okay, so here's what they're looking like on the back. They're just hanging out. Here's what they're looking like. They're just hanging out. And now we need to go ahead and put our weight on. We're going to go from the back and we're going to put our weight right onto our little knot. So if you can see that, I just grabbed it with the clip. And now we are ready to begin. Okay, so, okay, we are going to start by taking our 5 and going over to our lowercase e. And this is why I didn't want to add beads to begin with, but know that you can add beads to either the center of your braid or the outside of your braid. But we'll do that in another show if everyone wants to see that. Okay, so we're just going to pick it up and we're going to arch over to the lowercase e. Now we're going to pick up the 6 and we're going to go to the uppercase e. Okay, and I do kind of want to have my camera where you can see the full plate. So I'm probably going to stand to do this, guys. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have 2 vacant slots. And let me actually I'm going to move my chair out of the way. I really think Kumi is easier to do standing here so we can all look. Okay, so now we have the 2 empty slots. We're going to start with our left-hand side, then do our right-hand side, and then bring our sides up. And that will be 1 full rotation. So we're going to take our 15 and we're going to go to that empty 5. So we're just going to go up. Then we are going to take our 4 down to our empty 15 slot. So 4 down to 15. Now we have an empty 4 slot. So we're going to take our 14 up to our 4. Now we have an empty 14 spot. So we're going to take our 3 down to our 14. So we just did the left-hand side. So now we're going to do the right. So now we're going to take the 16 up to the 6, the 7 down to the 16, the 17 up to the 7, the 8 down to the 17, and now we're going to put our arms up, essentially our outstretched ones. So we're going to take the capital E to the 3, and we're going to take the lowercase e to the 8. And now we are back to our starting position where we have 6 up top and 4 at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to try to read the comments now because I was trying not to read them so I didn't get confused. Rosie, how do you know what number to start at? So you are going to start at the same number each time. So we're going to do another full rotation. So you're always starting by taking your 5, that's your starting number, over to the lowercase e, and you're going to take your 6 to the uppercase e. That's always what you start with. So basically you think of like these, like almost think of them like arm extensions. I'm taking them off to the side and doing my side warps first. And then I'm going from the left and then I'm going to do the right. And it's just repeat. So you're always going to go ahead and do 1 full rotation before you stop. So remember we talked about the trick, if you watched the round Kumihimo video, we talked about the trick of always leaving it with 3 strands up top and 1 at the bottom so you always could find your place again. I find it easiest with Kumihimo, with the flat, with the square disc, that you always leave your disc with 6 up top and 4 at the bottom, because then what you can do is you can put it down, you can walk away, and when you start again, you know you're ready to start a brand new rotation. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same exact thing. We did 1 full rotation. So now we take the 5 to the E and the 6 to the E. So remember, you got the lowercase and the uppercase. Now you have these 2 slots that are blank up here, and we're going to start with the left one, which is the 5. So the 15, so you've got, so imagine, like, draw yourself a little imaginary line right here. And these are your left threads, these are your right threads. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and the 15 is gonna go up to the 5, the 4 is gonna go down to the 15, the 14 is gonna go up to the 4, and the 3 is gonna go down to the 14. So we just did the left side. Now we're ready for our right side, and we notice that we have that empty 6 up here, so that's kind of a good cue of remembering what to do. So now your 16 is gonna go up to your 6. Your 17 is gonna go fill that empty spot of the 16. Now your 7, I meant 7. 7 is gonna go to 16. 17 is gonna go to 7. 8 is gonna go to 17. Now bring your arms up. It doesn't matter if you bring up the E, capital E first or the lowercase. You're gonna bring your E up to 8 and your other E up to 3. So there was our second full rotation. So again, you're always gonna have the 3 through the 8 filled. We're not using the 1 or 2 or the 9 or 10. There's other braids you can do that use those, but you're only gonna keep using these exact same numbers on repeat. So we did 2 full rotations. Okay, if anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to ask. I'm going to probably try to check them after the sequence so I don't get confused, because this does take a little bit more attention than the round Kumihimo braid. So I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to share a few tips too. And then we're going to go up and down. And it'll go faster as you do it, but give yourself a little time to figure it out. And I definitely suggest do flat without beads to start, and then add your beads later on your next braid. But you see how fast that one went, the next rotation where I wasn't trying to talk during it. And now we're back to start. So is there a formula? Okay, D, is there a formula for the amount of cord you need for a project? Say an 8-inch bracelet. I like to multiply it by 4. So this is a 7.5-inch bracelet, so I am using 30 inches. If I was doing an 8-inch bracelet, I would do 32 inches. And what I would do as well is, there's always gonna be a little bit left. You always want a little bit left so that it can stay in your bobbin. You don't wanna run out and go down to 0. Okay. Oh, Deborah would have 3 inches of beaded cord by now. Oh, that's good. It does go a lot faster. If you're not trying to explain it, it does end up going a lot faster. And once the flat kumi clicks, it really clicks. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna not talk on this one so you can see that it does go faster. There we go. And then let's look at what we've got going. You can see how that braid is starting to form right in there. And it looks like it's pulled apart, and it always kind of makes me wonder, am I doing it right? But you are. It will come together in the center. And then another good tip is I find I have different tension when I do this every time, just a little bit. So if you stop, like if you look at this braid here, because I'm at a stopping point here. Here's our finished braid. You can see there's sometimes like a little wobble. That little wobble usually happens for me when I put it down and I come back the next day or a couple hours later. My tension is just a little bit different than what it was when I was doing it and just kind of ongoing and it was flowing. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. If you find you're having little wobbles in your braid, sometimes you'll notice those wobbles happen when you step away and come back. But this is what that flat braid will look like. And the underneath looks like this. So this is one side and this is one side. So you can see. And then I want to show you what this looks like under back here. So this is what it's looking like. It's starting to feed that cord all the way through. So I'm going to do just a little bit more, and then I want to actually show you how you would take it off, because I have this sample here that I'm going to show you how to do the finishing of. So we're going to kind of do a little bit more, and then we're going to pretend that we had a nice long braid, and then I want to show you actually how to finish it, because I think that's just as important. Okay, so always start with your side arms. I don't know why I call them arms. It starts to look like a person or something. Imagine these to be their arms. Okay, I'm going to just do one more, and then I want to take it off and finish it for you guys. Okay, so now you've got this imaginary nice long braid. You are at a stopping point. You've done a full rotation. So when you take it off, what you want to do is you want to take your weight off. So you're going to grab your weight. You're going to flip it over. And this would be a lot longer coming out of here. But basically, you are going to clip your cord. You're going to clip your end right here with your weight. So I can't do it because this isn't long enough. So I'm going to just really carefully pinch this, because you would definitely be clipping this first so that it doesn't come undone. Okay, so what you would do is you would clip your braid like so. So what you're doing is you're preventing it from unraveling. And I'm just going to cut this right now. So you would just keep braiding that exact same method that I showed you up all the way until you had a braid about, I would say, 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer than you want your finished bracelet. And the reason you want to do that is because of the finishing technique. So this yesterday was essentially this. So I had my knot down there, and I had a big, nice long braid, and then this was up top. So the way that you finish this, oh, thank you, Wanda. And Louise, can you do a flat braid on a round board? I have never done that, but I feel like I've heard that people can do that. Has anyone here done a flat braid on a round board? I would love to hear that. Okay, so here I'm going to show you now how to finish it. So I'm going to sit back down. I'm going to lower my camera a little bit, because the finishing is something else that we're going to do. Okay, so this is how that was to begin with, and I finished it. The way I finished it is what I'm going to show you right here on this side, because it's the same technique. So you are going to take a beading needle, and you are going to take some thread. I have 1G, Nymo would work, sewing thread would work, whatever you've got. And I'm going to use black because hopefully it'll be easiest for everyone to see. But you can use a color that matches and kind of disappears. Okay, so I'm just cutting myself pretty nice long amount. I probably have 30 inches, 35 inches, something like that. And then I'm just going to thread it onto my needle. And I'm going to do a double. I'm going to bring this thread all the way down so it's doubled, because I want it to be a little bit thicker. And this just got me to thinking, I've never finished a round braid this way, but I wonder if you could. I wonder if you could finish a round braid the same way we finish a flat braid. That would be kind of cool. Okay, it's just tying like a really thick knot right here. Okay, so we see that knot. I just want it to be very, very, very secure. Okay, so I have kind of a chunkier knot right there. Then I'm going to trim my tail. And now we are actually going to stitch a line. So we are going to, This is why you want to make your braid a little bit longer than what you want your finished bracelet to be, because we're going to stitch a line across. And we're going to make sure that we wrap around the edges as we do this as well. So just start anywhere in your braid that you want. And what the key is, you see how there's air. You see a little air between some of the cords. You don't want to be putting your needle in that air. You actually want to be putting your needle like actually through the material, through the cord itself. It was a paranoid surgeon's knot, you're right. Okay, so we're just going to go from the back all the way through our braid. Make sure your knot doesn't come out. So make sure you didn't accidentally go through one of those air spots. And we are going to just stitch. So I'm just going through the actual cords. And this is basically stitching them together, because you see how this kind of just unravels right here where it comes out of the knot? You don't want that to happen to your braid. So you are stitching your cords together. And what I do is, if I feel myself going through, like the needle goes through too easily, then I kind of know that I probably just went through a little area, like a pocket between the cords, and I didn't actually go through the cords. So then I pull my needle out and I go through the cords. Okay, so when you get to an end, what you want to do is so I went from the front to the back, and then I'm going to wrap it around like so. Okay. So it just kind of makes a little loop around the side there, pull it, and keep stitching. And do try to make this stitch somewhat straight, because you're going to need to cover it with your ribbon pinch crimp end. And if it's all diagonal, it's gonna show, and it's not gonna quite sit right. Oh, Jean, you do stitch the ends of your round braids. That's good to know. That's very good to know. Oh, Nicole, Stitch from Disney. These are the Stitch colors. My pajamas are Stitch. I love Stitch. Okay, and this does take a little bit of, time. I wanted to show it here on camera, but you got to make sure that your braid, after you've spent so much effort getting your beautiful braid put together, you don't want it to unravel on you when you try to do your finishing. So it takes a little time. Okay, I'm at the end again, so I'm coming out the back. I'm going to go and wrap it around the front, basically. Okay. Okay, and I actually like to go through this like 2 to 3 times. Back and forth, back and forth. And I know it's a little bit tedious, but I really think it's a very important part of your finishing, is to make sure that your braid does not come undone on you at the very last minute. Okay, Jacqueline, can you please repeat your previous question? I would love to see it. I think I missed it when I was stitching. Or if Eric, if you've got it, if you could paste it, that would be great. Do you always have to have an even number of cords? I've only done the 10 warp on this, and I've done an 8 warp and a 12 warp round. That's a great question, though. I don't know if you can do an odd number braid. And I'm trying to look for Jacqueline's question, so when it pops up, I'll hopefully see it. Okay. I do stitch okay, you can stitch the ends. Oh yeah, so you can stitch the end of a round braid. Thank you, Jean, that was great information because I've always not finished them by stitching. So I'm really happy because I think stitching is a little bit neater. It's a little bit more time consuming, but I think it's a little bit neater. Sorry guys, I hit the camera there. Okay, and it is, I'm going to see if I can get away with 2 rows here, but I would probably, if I wasn't doing this on camera, I would probably go back and do a 3rd stitch row. Just to be safe. Again, wrap it around. Yeah, my stitching is not beautiful. It does the job, but it's not beautiful. Okay, and then I want to just come back to this side. And it's actually getting quite thick right where I'm stitching because I've gone around so many times. Okay, and I'm just going to go towards the middle here. Come up and go down one more time, and then I'm going to tie this off. Okay, so now I'm at the back, so you can see what the back looks like. Oh, how do you get the sound back? Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, what's your technique to remember where you stop, you stitch with K? I have to stop at the same place. Oh, okay, so what's your technique to remember where you stop your stitch? For the stitch for this stitching here or the warp threads? For me, if it's the warp threads, I always stop with 6 up top, 4 at the bottom. And that way I know I need to start fresh with a complete new rotation. And then if it's for here, I just always finish this off where I'm going, and I just kind of, on the disc. Yep, so on the disc, I always end up making sure I have a full rotation. So I never leave with like a 15 empty hole down here or 1 E done and 1 E not done. I always make sure that I finish a complete rotation. And then I just imagine that I'm starting fresh from the beginning with a brand new rotation. So then I'll do the 5 and then the 6. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this over. And then I think with the round braid, I'm trying to imagine my head. I think with the round braid, I always stop with 3 up top and 1 at the bottom. And then I'll know I need to take 1 down to the bottom. And that lets me know where I left off. Oh, good, Charlene, I'm glad you got some sound. Okay, here we go. And we're just going to tie another knot, hopefully not quite as crazy as a knot. And then 1 more knot. Here we go. You guys can probably all hear my very creaky floors from the 1950s. My husband just snuck in. If you heard some sound on the background, I have the creakiest floors. Okay, so now we're just going to trim our little tail, but we've got our stitching done. And don't forget, if you want to see any of the supplies I'm using, just click on that shopping bag icon. Everything is listed up there. So you don't have to wait for Eric to put up the little banner. You can just see it right there. Okay, so in the shopping cart, I have a couple different ribbon pinch crimp ends in there. I have a 10 millimeter and a 13 millimeter. So the 10 millimeter, remember we're using 1 millimeter cord. So the 10 millimeter is pretty exact, spot on for this size. I put the 13 in there because it's not that much bigger, but I think if you are a little worried about it fitting, because this is pretty much exactly spot on, and you want a little wiggle room and maybe you're braiding a little looser, the 13 is a really good option too, because you can see that size comparison. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and use the 10. So we are going to grab ahead of time a scrap I have a little plastic baggie that some beads came in, and I got my E6000 and my scrap piece of wire. I've got my ribbon pinch and